Welcome to Plata Plomo. We hope you are enjoying our channel. If you haven't checked out our web series, please click on the link in the description below. Make sure to hit subscribe and remember to hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos arrive. Who is the baddest, Pablo or El Chapo? We've all heard of El Chapo's crazy escape stories and his capture that led him to be extradited to the most secure prison facility in the world. The US considered him the most powerful drug trafficker after Pablo's death, that is. He was at one time at the top of the DEA's list, number 55 on the Forbes list, but remember, Pablo was number 7 of the most powerful people in the world. Chapo's bounty was 5 million buckaroos. Yep, paid by the US government. Let's go into some of the history of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. El Chapo, or Shorty as it would translate, a 5'6" criminal who has become a legend in Mexican gangster history.
El Chapo is part of a network of cartels shipping drugs by the hundreds of tons into the U.S.
Hey dude, we got what you were looking for.
Yes, we did.
At the southwest border, trucks would bring tons of drugs, marijuana, cocaine, meth, and other designer drugs provided by the Mexican cartels. The impact that this had on the US was astonishing, and Chicago was the first state to declare him public enemy number 1. The infamous title was taken over, and it was first used by the well-known Al Capone. Chapo's cartel was responsible for 89% of the drugs that were coming into Chicago. Once Chapo was captured, the Mexican government paraded Chapo in front of the world media. They put him on a chopper and flew him into the prison that he once escaped from a few months prior. Special forces raided a house where they had traced him and found many weapons, including a rocket launcher. El Chapo escaped through the sewer system and was caught and brought to the Ibex Hotel. Here, a couple of his sicarios were killed during the sting. They were no match to the Mexican Special Marine Task Force. El Chapo is popularly known for his escape tactics and has fled several Mexican prisons on many occasions.
This surveillance video shows his last moments in his cell before he walks into his shower stall. That's when he climbed into this mile-long tunnel where this retrofitted motorcycle had been used to excavate his path to freedom.
He has made tunnels for different purposes: escape routes, drug smuggling, and you name it, something straight out of a movie. El Chapo is also a violent little guy. He's responsible for as many as 34,000 whopping deaths. You heard it, 34,000. This bold, violent statement is what created fear and made him very rich. Forbes categorized him in the billionaires list. His character became the subject of books, songs, and folklore. He came from a poor family in the Sinaloa state, but Chapo was always a dreamer, and he claimed to have a good set of between his legs to get the job done. His reputation grew amongst the top Mexican criminal organizations, where he gained mad respect for his trigger-happy forces and magical escapism acts. In this footage at the home in Mazatlan where he was caught, we could see he was always ready for war. These Marines were caught in a confrontation, and we could see and hear the firepower and grenades used during the operative. The exchange of gunfire killed 5 during the raid, but they wanted Chapo dead or alive. And you know the rest of the story. Let's see if he digs his way out of this one.
Pero he asegurado que mi dinero no tiene vínculos con el narcotráfico.
Yep, by now you and the whole world know who this guy is. It's gonna be up to you to decide whether you think it's Pablo or El Chapo to be the baddest one. So don't forget to leave your comments and share with us who you think is the baddest of the baddest.
Pablo Escobar at this time was the biggest, the most powerful, the most violent drug trafficker that we had ever seen.
Pablo Escobar, the worldwide Colombian drug lord and infamous legend, was the world leader in cocaine trafficking. He was the world's public enemy number 1. and had the Colombian army and the US government after him. Escobar's factories of coca flooded the US with 2 tons of cocaine a day. At one time, this boy from Envigado, Colombia, was the 7th richest man on the planet. He lived a lavish playboy lifestyle with all of the luxuries life could offer at the time. Pablo loved the camera too, and his aspirations of becoming a public figure were to serve his community. It's claimed that he would take from the rich to give to the poor. It was his Robin Hood style of being a criminal. The people loved him, and his popularity was growing. The word quickly spread of his power. He would throw stacks of money into the crowd. He even had his own private zoo with many wild animals imported from Africa and Asia. Pablo was a fancy guy. He also had an airstrip that he used for his operations, where he used them to transport friends and families for his lavish parties, but were also part of his operation. Escobar contributed his money to the creation of soccer fields, health centers. He even built an entire neighborhood for the poor. But where he really screwed up was getting involved in politics. After so much he had done for the people, this businessman had helped so many, but deep down inside, if anyone got in his way, they were in big trouble. This guy was a monster. You did not mess with Pablo, period. It was a bold statement that many knew.
But if anyone gets in his way,
They would torture people, burn them, cut them, just to tell other people this will happen to you if you come against me.
He had his own army of sicarios, and police, judges, and politicians were no exception on his hit list. In 1989, he even blew up a plane just to kill politicians that were on it, though they never got onto the plane. 110 innocent people died. Pablo was known to be an assassin. The crazy part of the whole story is that in the early 90s, Pablo Escobar made a deal with the Colombian government. The deal was to build his own prison and do his time under his own conditions, with the exchange of eliminating the extradition treaty with the US government. 13 months later,
hundreds of Colombian troops are hunting the drugs baron Pablo Escobar, who escaped from prison during a gun battle. The government was about to move Escobar from a jail near the town of Medellin, where it said he continued to control the cocaine trade. The Colombian president, Cesar Gaviria, said he would still refuse to extradite suspected drug traffickers for trial abroad.
after Escobar escaped from his own prison named La Catedral, or the Cathedral, a special military task force trained by the US government began a hunt for Pablo Escobar. But they weren't the only ones after him. There were other cartel rivals who wanted to kill him. A death squad founded by the Cali cartel. It was an organization called Los Pepes.
And that stands for People Persecuted by Pablo Escobar. This group basically turned the table on Pablo Escobar. They used his tactics to combat him.
Pablo was using a yellow taxi to move around the city, and the officers and other investigators had already had intelligence on him and knew he was in the house. Pablo and his bodyguard were trying to escape, heading up to the rooftop. Pablo was finally killed on that rooftop. So it is up to you to judge. Chapo was caught and has absolutely no chances of escaping the life sentences he's facing in the Colorado prison facility. While Pablo took oath as saying he would prefer a grave in Colombia than a cell in the US. Pretty words if you ask me. But then again, Pablo was ruthless. Well guys, there is a famous saying, all of the baddest end up in the same place, either behind bars or 6 feet under. Thank you for watching our channel, and please don't forget to hit that like button to keep the videos coming. Check out our Plata Plomo merchandise located in the description below. Thank you for your support. And remember, crime doesn't pay.